Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Saakhi Dewan and today we will be discussing CUET Psychology 2024 paper. Let us start with the very first question, which states, who has used POX triangle to describe the process of attitude change? If you refer to the figure given on the slide, in POX, P stands for the person, O stands for other, and X stands for the attitude object. So such type of triangle that defines our process of attitude change was given by Fritz Keller. The theory he gave was known as balance theory. So the correct answer of this question is option number 3, Fritz Keller. With this, let us move on to the second question. People who develop a fear of entering unfamiliar situations suffer from options given are agoraphobia, social phobia, social anxiety disorder, and separation anxiety disorder. So the fear of entering unfamiliar situations is known as agoraphobia. It is option number 1. Let us move to the next question. Question number 3. It provides us with two lists and we have to match list 1 with list 2. Let's come to the first part of list 1. Low grades in school. So low grades in school can lead to option number 3 in the second list, that is frustration. Second part says, I must do everything perfectly. That means that the person is putting the pressure on themselves to do everything perfectly, to bring perfection in their work. If the person is putting the pressure on themselves, then it is known as internal pressure. Third part says deciding between pursuing further studies or taking up a job. So when there are two options for us to choose from and we face difficulty in choosing either of the options, then this situation is known as a conflict. So option number 4 in the second list. And the last one says setting high performance targets for a new employee. So if somebody else is setting the targets for us, somebody else is setting the bar that we need to achieve, then that is known as social pressure. So the correct answer would be option number 2. Let us move to the fourth question. As a team leader, Anita was very popular amongst her team members as she never lost her temper in the worst of crisis situations. She was so insightful that she understood the feelings and emotions of others without them verbalizing it and always maintained a harmonious environment at work. Identify the type of intelligence displayed by Anita. So there are some key points given to us in the question. That is, she never loses her tempers no matter what the situation is. She is insightful in the manner that she understood the feeling and emotions of others. And she always maintained a harmonious environment. So all these are characteristics of high emotional intelligence. Now, what exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive, to understand, to manage, and to regulate emotions in oneself and others. So the correct answer of this question is option number 2, emotional intelligence. With this, let us move to the next question. Question number 5. Assessments that are open to subjective interpretation and vary from case to case are called. So, the assessments that are open to subjective interpretation. There are two types of interpretation, objective and subjective. So, that assessments that are open to subjective interpretation, that is, they can vary from one person to another, and the assessments that also vary from one case to another. Such type of assessments are known as informal assessments. They involve observing the learners as they learn and evaluating them from the data gathered. There is no fixed interpretation. The interpretation varies from one person to another, and the assessment also varies from one case to another. So such assessments are known as informal assessments. So the correct answer is option number 1, informal assessments. Question number 6, it again provides us with two types of list. The first talks about some types of therapies, and the list 2 talks about the people who provided or who gave the therapies. So, rational emotive therapy, we know that rational emotive therapy was given by Albert Ellis. Dysfunctional cognitive structures. So, dysfunctional cognitive structures are a part of cognitive therapy that was given by Aaron Beck. Existential therapy. Existential therapy was given by Viktor Frankl, and client-centered therapy was given by Carl Rogers. So the correct answer to this question is option number one. Let us move to the next question, question number 7, which of the following is not a feature of attitude? So there are 4 features of attitude: valence, centrality, extremeness, and simplicity or complexity. So out of these 4, the fourth option given to us, that is dissonance, is not a part of the features of attitude. So the answer to which of the following is not a feature of attitude will be option number 4, dissonance. Dissonance relates to the cognitive dissonance theory. It is not a feature of attitude. It describes how our attitude changes. Let us move to the next question. Question number 8. How many kinds of interpersonal physical distances have been mentioned by Edward Paul? So he gave 4 types of interpersonal distances, namely intimate distance, personal distance, social distance, and public distance. So the correct answer is option number 3, 4. Let us move to the next question, question number 9. Rasika is a moderately obese girl who has been warned by her doctor to control the consumption of sugar. However, when asked by her dietitian why she ate an entire cake, she said that she did because the cake would have been otherwise wasted and that would be waste of money and someone's effort. Which defense mechanism is Rasika using? So the defense mechanism that she is utilizing is called rationalization, where we try to find rational arguments for a dysfunctional behavior. So the ego number 10. Kabir and his wife would fight bitterly every day due to minor differences. After one such fight with his wife, Kabir left his house. After several months, he was found living in a small village with a new identity. Later, after a road accident, Kabir woke up with no memory of the events in the intervening time. These symptoms indicate that Kabir is suffering from. So there are a few key points given to us in the question. First is he left his house after the fight and he did not return for several months. When he was found eventually, he was living with a different identity and he had no recollection of his past identity. Then a sudden incident happened. That was a road accident. And then Kabir woke up with his previous identity and could not remember the new identity that he formed in the intervening time. So these are all characteristics of dissociative view. What happened? Number 11. Lisa approached her school counselor to seek help during the time she was experiencing severe despair and helplessness. The counselor told her that she understood how Lisa was feeling and what her perspective was. This kind of skill is called a very important skill in counseling, wherein the counselor understands how the person is feeling by putting himself or herself in the client's shoes, is called empathy. It is the ability to understand and to even share the feelings of another person. It is different from sympathy. For example, in empathy, we say that I feel how you feel. That is, we are experiencing the same emotions as the other person. But in sympathy, we say I know how you feel. That means I can understand why you are feeling a certain way. I can understand how you are feeling, but I cannot resonate with those feelings. So this is the difference between empathy and sympathy. So the important characteristic of counseling relationship is that the counselor must possess empathy for the client. It must be an empathetic relationship and not a sympathetic one. I hope this makes sense. With this, let us move on to the 12th question. Now, the following is the most comprehensive example of attitude. So we have to search for an example that contains all the 3 components of attitude, that is affective, behavioral, and cognitive. So let us read the statements and we'll try to understand which of the following statements contains all the 3 components. Rashmi finds music soothing to her ears and loves it. The second statement says, Neeraj has a passion for music as it distresses him. He makes it a point to practice his music every day. Jacob buys all the latest music albums for his father, and Elasto says James believes that music directly connects him to his soul. So out of these four statements, we can clearly understand that it is statement number two that contains all the three components. So in this statement, we have all the three components of attitude, that is affective, behavioral, and cognitive. So Neeraj has a passion for music. That will be the cognitive component as it distresses him. So what he's feeling after listening to music is the affective component, and he makes it a point to practice it will be the behavioral component. So the correct answer is option number two. Let us move on to the next question. Question number 13. Identify from the following the approach that considers intelligence to be an aggregate of abilities and expresses the individual's performance in terms of single index of cognitive abilities. So the approach that considers individual's performance as a single index of abilities is known as psychometric approach. So the correct answer is option number two, psychometric approach. Question number 14. Hallucinations that make a person smell poison or smoke, even in the absence of any such substances, are called dash hallucinations. So, the hallucinations in which we get a sense of smell of hazardous substances like poison or smoke, such hallucinations are called olfactory hallucinations. The other name for olfactory hallucinations is phantosmia. They make you detect the smells that are not actually present in the environment. So the correct answer of this will be option number three, olfactory hallucination. With this, let us move on to question number 15. Which of the following are characteristics of stress-resistant personality as mentioned by Kubasa? So Kubasa gave the characteristic of hardiness, that is, that shows the stress-resistant personality. Hardiness consists of three C's, that are commitment, control, and challenge. So the correct answer is option number four, commitment, control, and challenge. Let us move to the next question. Question number 16 provides us with two lists. We have to match list 1 with list 2. Provides us the different time periods, and we have to match it with the characteristics of those particular time periods in the list number 2. List 1, A part talks about Middle Ages. So in Middle Ages, option number 4 will be matched. Demonology and superstition gained importance. In Renaissance period, there there was increased humanism and curiosity. Under the reform movement, reforms of asylums were initiated, and in the recent years, we followed the biopsychosocial approach. So the correct answer of this question will be option. Let's move to the next question, question number 17. At what stage of psychosocial development is Electra or Oedipus complex experienced? So we know that Freud provided us with five sexual stages of development: oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, genital stage, and latent stage. So these were the five stages, and it was in the third stage, that is known as the phallic stage, in which we experience the Electra or the Oedipus complex. So the correct answer would be option number three, phallic. Number 18, in a particular class, there is a group of students who are very good friends. They became close because they traveled in the same bus since they were in nursery. This interaction formation of a group happened due to, so the key words in this question is they became close friends because they traveled in the same bus since they were in nursery. So from this we can understand that since they were in close proximity for a very long time, that is why they developed a very strong friendship. So the correct answer of why the group formation occurred will be option number one, proximity. Let us move to the next question, question number 19. Identify the characteristics of an outgroup. The statements are the group that one is a member of, they are viewed differently and perceived negatively. It is the V group, and all members have decided to. So from this, we can clearly understand that the correct answer would be statement number two, that is, they are viewed differently and perceived negatively. All the other statements are characteristics of an in-group. In-group is the one that the person is part of. Out-group is the one that the person is not a part of. So the characteristic of in-group is that we consider it as the we group and we consider the out-group as the they group. And all the members of in-group are viewed desirably and perceived positively, while the members of out-group are viewed differently and are perceived negatively. So the correct answer is option number 2. Let us move to the next question, question number 20, which is the following is not a life skill. The life skills that we have learned so far are assertiveness, time management, rational thinking, improving relationships, self-care, overcoming unhelpful habits, diet and exercise, positive attitude, positive thinking, and social support. So out of these, option number 1, that is stigma, is not a life skill. So the answer will be option number 1. Let us move to the next question. Question 21. Sometimes cohesion can interfere with effective leadership and can lead to disastrous decisions. The Vietnam War is an example where more than 50,000 Americans and more than 1 million Vietnamese lost their lives. The absence of dissent in taking important decisions is called. So the correct answer is group think. That is, opting to conform with the consensus view rather than engaging in critical thinking. So in group thinking, there is absence of dissent. People agree on one particular decision due to high cohesion that can lead to disastrous decisions. The correct answer is option number 1, group. Number 22, the frequency distribution for the IQ scores tend to approximate a bell-shaped curve called the other name for bell-shaped curve is the normal curve. So the answer is option number 2, normal curve. Question 23, the level of stress that is good for the individual to achieve peak performance and manage minor crises is known as. So there are two types of stress, distress and eustress. So the level of stress that is good for us is known as eustress. Eustress helps us in achieving peak performance and it also helps us in managing crisis in various phases of our life. So the correct answer to this question is option number 2, eustress. Let us move to the next question, question number 24. Sham is going through a lot of stress since his father was diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. Identify the emotional effects of his stress. Increased psychological tension, increased physical tension, anxiety and depression, high level of concentration, mood swing, and decreased confidence. So we know that high level of concentration is not a characteristic of emotional effects or stress. So the correct answer would be option number 4, A, B, C, and E only. Let us move to the next question. Question number 25. In which therapy does the therapist teach the client to recognize the bodily processes and the emotions that are being blocked out from awareness? So the correct answer of this is option number 4, Gestalt psychotherapy. You can refer to the paragraph given in NCERT also. That is, the client is taught to recognize the bodily processes and the emotions that are being blocked out from the awareness. The therapist does this by encouraging the client to act out fantasies about feelings and conflicts. I hope this makes sense. Let us move on to the next question, question number 26. Advertisers use pretty models to sell their products. This is an example of changing attitude through. So the models that are selling the products are known as sources. So there are two characteristics of sources. Either the source can be credible or the source can be attractive. If we are utilizing pretty models, then that is utilizing the attractiveness of the source. So the correct answer would be source characteristics, option number 1. Let us move to the next question. The counselor in your school has the ability to understand the motives, feelings, and behaviors of other people. This helps students to bond with the counselor. This shows that the counselor is high in. So whenever a person is able to understand the motives, feelings, and behaviors of other people, is able to engage with them effectively, then that type of intelligence is known as interpersonal intelligence. This was given by Howard Gardner under his theory of multiple intelligences. So the correct answer is option number 3, interpersonal intelligence. Question 28. You use the dash traits to write down the job recommendations for your junior at work. So the correct answer is central traits. Central traits are less pervasive as compared to cardinal traits, but they are still quite generalized dispositions. These traits are often used in writing testimonials or job recommendations for a person. These are a part of Gordon Allport's trait theory. With this, let us move on to the next question, question number 29. From teacher's point of view, intellectual giftedness depends on a combination of the following: high ability, high productivity, high creativity, high commitment, and high academic performance. So intellectual giftedness from teacher's point of view comprises of three components. First is high ability, second is high creativity, and the third is high commitment. So the correct answer would be option number 4, A, C, and D only. Question number 30. The four Ds that describe abnormality are distress, deviance, danger, and the four Ds are deviance, distress, danger, and dysfunction. So the correct answer is option number 4, dysfunction. Let us move to the next question, question number 31. Consider these two cognitions in an individual. The first cognition says, I love fast food and chocolates. Second cognition says, I want to remain fit and active. Which process of attitude change will help to resolve this and reduce the discomfort in the individual? So whenever we have different cognitions that are contradictory to each other, then the theory that explains attitude change by changing one of these cognitions is known as cognitive dissonance theory. This was given by Leon Festivage. So the correct answer is option number 2, cognitive dissonance theory. Question number 32. One should work hard or one should always speak the truth because honesty is the best policy. So honesty is the best policy is an example of value, a value that we possess. So the correct answer would be option number 2, value. Question number 33. Dash is an individual's preference for engaging in one or more specific activities related to others. So, a preference for engaging in one or more activities related to others is known as interest. This is option number 1, interest. A dash is a collection of people who have complementary skills and are committed to a common goal. If a collection or a group of people have complementary skills, that is the skills that gel together and have a common goal, then that kind of group is known as a team. So the correct answer is option number 1, team. Let us move to the next question, question number 35. 16 PF, that is 16 personality factor questionnaire was developed by, so the correct answer is Raymond Kettle. Raymond Kettle was the one who provided us a 16 personality factor questionnaire. Question number 36 provides us with two lists. The first talks about the disorders and the second about the symptoms of those disorders. First is illness anxiety disorder. So the symptoms of illness anxiety disorder are involves persistent preoccupation about developing a serious illness and worrying about health. The second disorder is post-traumatic stress disorder. The symptoms may include recurrent dreams, flashbacks, emotional numbness, etc. That is the third part in list. The third disorder is dissociative disorder. This can be matched with option number 1, characterized by extensive but selective memory loss that has no known organic cause. And the last one is conversion disorder, that is reported loss of body parts or loss of some basic body functions, paralysis, blindness, deafness, etc. So the correct answer is option number 3. Let us move to the 37th question. Which disorder involves persistent body-related symptoms with or without any serious medical condition? So the disorder in which there are body-related symptoms, but there is no known organic cause or no known medical condition due to which those symptoms are occurring. Then such a disorder is known as somatic symptom disorder. The correct answer is option number 1, somatic symptom disorder. Let us move to the next question, question number 38. An alcoholic is given a mild electric shock and asked to smell the alcohol. With repeated pairings, the smell of alcohol becomes repelling as the pain of the shock is associated with it. Gradually, the person quits alcohol. So such a type of conditioning is known as aversive conditioning. That makes the person averse towards the alcohol. Option number one, aversive condition. Let us move to the next question. Question number 39. Mishap takes place on the road. A large number of people gather on the spot. This is an example of so people who do not have a specific purpose are gathering without a purpose are known as crowd. So the correct answer of such a group will be
She went in for therapy.
so a therapy that we can utilize in such a case is known as Albert Ellis's rational emotive therapy. So the correct answer will be option number two, rational emotive therapy. Next question says, due to childhood experiences, the beliefs and action patterns of Radhika led to the development of Dash in herself. So she developed the core schemas that she is unwanted and she is unlucky. So the correct answer would be core schemas, option number two. Question number 43. Whenever psychological distress occurs due to irrational thoughts and beliefs, which therapy is the most effective? So the correct answer would be cognitive therapy. That is option number three. Whenever we have irrational thoughts and beliefs, the therapy that can be extensively utilized is known as cognitive therapy. Let us move on to question number 44. Behavior was rewarded. That will not be true in such a case. And the faulty behavior was extinguished and substituted with adaptive ones. Again, this will be true for behavior therapy, not for cognitive therapy. And lastly, the therapist did cognitive restructuring to reduce anxiety and depression. That is true. So the correct answer is option number four, A, B, and E only. Last question for this passage states, patterns of thought in Radhika which distorted reality in negative manner in herself are called. So the correct answer would be dysfunctional cognitive structures, option number one. This is the next passage given to us. Frame, identify from the following the disorder that Frame is suffering from. So the disorder that he is suffering from is autism spectrum disorder. Some symptoms are the constant flapping and walking, not responding when called out by his parents or using normal language, and also not being able to use language and grammar properly. So the correct answer of this would be autism spectrum disorder. Some of the symptoms include motor difficulties, repetitive behavior, sensitivity to change in stimulation, social impediments, and communication difficulties that are all seen in brain. Question number 47. Identify the correct feature of disorder that brain is showing through the symptoms mentioned below. Brain could be lacking in impulsivity. Brain is tapping and rocking back and forth. Brain as an infant was not responsive to people, did not make eye contact or smile. Brain could be deaf, hearing impaired. Even now he uses very immature grammar. So the correct answer would be B, C, and E. That is constant flapping and rocking, not being responsive to people and not making eye contact or smiling and using immature. Identify one significant symptom of pain disorder that is not mentioned in the case study but is common in such children. So one such symptom that is common in people with autism spectrum disorder is self-injurious behavior. That can include banging their head against the wall or hitting their hand constantly on hard objects. Such behavior that will injure them is known as self-injurious behavior, which is a common symptom in people with autism spectrum disorder. So the correct answer is option number three, self-injurious behavior such as banging their head against the wall. Let us move to question number 49. In which of the following categories does French disorder fall? So autism spectrum disorder falls under neurodevelopmental disorders. So the correct answer will be neurogenic/neurodevelopmental disorder. That is option number one. Let us come to the last question about what percent of children with autism spectrum disorder are found to have intellectual disabilities. So the correct answer is option number three, 70%. I hope this was clear and it was helpful to all of you.